live over here in a while, and I normally don't go live over here much. And honestly, I think that that's a mistake, and that's getting ready to be fixed. We're getting ready to change that. I don't know. Do I want to change the angle? I feel like we're in the dark. But we're really not. Like it is dark, but it's not that dark. But I can just like bring y'all with me here, like this, and then. All right. Maybe this is a little bit better. Okay. Oh, goodness. I don't know. I was having some interesting thoughts. And one of them being that I'm not sure how, not that I won't ever, or not that I'm not going to continue to go live on TikTok, because I will. I enjoy my people over there and whatever. But I feel like because of the way that TikTok is, it is, there's a lot of stuff where I feel like it is very showy. And to be honest with you, I don't want to be on a showy platform. I want to be on a platform where I can come live and interact with people, of course, but where interacting with people is like the thing. That's the end result. Not like, I don't know. It just feels very like a performance over there, and I just want to hang out and have conversations and talk about real life stuff, right? Which is kind of hard to do when everybody's either expecting you to jump through hoops and do stuff in order to stay, or they leave 2 seconds after you get there. So I wanted to have a talk about abundance. I know I've been doing, so I kind of stopped doing Vlogtober for a minute there. Hello, welcome in. How are you? I kind of stopped doing Vlogtober for a minute. And I think part of the reason I did, things were just kind of all over the place and stuff. Hello, hello. But there's a certain place that we get to, okay, where when we're in the middle of abundance, in the middle of like leveling up to that next level, of getting to that next place, where, how are you? Happy Saturday. And I just feel like for a lot of people, it is, well, thank you. I feel like for a lot of people, we get to this space where we're in between. We're like, this is where the level we used to be, and we're almost to this level where things start to like even out and you start to get used to your next level, right? But a lot of times what ends up happening is we just are kind of sideways on things, and it takes us a minute to get there. It's slow. It's not always quick. It's not always like sunshine and butterflies. And I think sometimes when you're in the middle of that, you can feel like you're forgotten about. You can feel like, okay, on this platform, for instance, there are so many people on YouTube that their point or their whole, thing of being on YouTube, hello, is because, they want the views and they want to build a platform. And because of that, I feel like sometimes we get to this space where it's like at first we're doing good and everything like that, and then we get to a place where it's sticky and it doesn't feel easy, and it feels like we have to put more out than we're getting back, okay? How old am I? I am a 43. I feel like a lot of times it takes us a minute to realize, like, we're going to eventually get the things that we're supposed to get. They're eventually supposed to happen. It takes a minute. And we have to take deep breaths and we have to keep going and we can't stop, okay? But you're also allowed to be in that space where everything is uncertain and you just don't quite know what's going to happen next. And you have to be okay with that. And I feel like in a lot of ways, that is a space that people are like, you get to that space and you don't want to, it's almost like people just stop, okay? Because it's hard. It's not easy. And it can feel very, very, like almost like God, the universe, whoever it is you believe in, it's like they forgot about you. And you're trying to get to this next level. You're trying to do all the things right. You're doing all the personal development. You're doing all the growth. You're, and I work, the NeuroCircus, we work with families who are neurodivergent. So autistic, ADHD, OCD, stuff like that. And so a lot of times we have already been in situations where we have been told we are too much or we don't try hard enough or whatever. And so when we get in those sticky situations where it feels like we aren't trying hard enough because things aren't going the way we want them to go, they're not getting to that point, it can feel incredibly triggering. It can feel very much like we are trying to, like, we need to try harder, but the harder we try, the more it backfires on us because we're not supposed to try hard. We're supposed to be and then follow. I have this thing that I downloaded. It's called the manifestation cycle, okay? When I say downloaded, I mean like spiritual download. And it's really very, very simple framework for manifesting whatever it is that you want. Is it instant? No. Because I don't believe that anything is like instant like that. We have to put work in. We have to do all the things. So we eventually get to where we want to be. That being said, we start out in this space where we are excited about the opportunities, we're visualizing what's going on, we're doing all the things in that way. And then we get over to putting some, we can dream and we visualize, we put emotion into it. If we do not put emotion into our visualizations, there's going to come a point in time where we're just kind of going to fall off, right? Because we're not, how do I want to explain it? We're not fully invested. We have to have that emotional connection to the thing that we want, or it's going to be easy to just say, okay, never mind. So there's that. And then after we get excited about it, we get into the feel of it, we feel the emotion of it, then we get into just doing normal things. Like we have to hold the vision in our hearts and in our mind to some degree, but then be able to let it go so that we can do all the things we need to do in life. You still need to do laundry and, make food and do all those things. And sometimes I feel like, I feel like this is even the topic of like a lot of religions lately. Like when I was seeing people who were just like giving up everything and selling stuff because they were like thinking the rapture was going to happen and stuff. Like, I feel like that is a place that we are at in society where like we just want what feels good and we don't want to have the work behind it. And that's not how this works, okay? Now, Is there some truth to the fact that if you're doing something that you love, it's not going to feel like work? Of course. But there's always going to be spaces where it's going to feel like work and you're not going to want to do it. There's always things that you don't want to do. And so when you're in that situation and there's things that you don't want to do, but you have to do, right? We have to keep going. We have to keep doing the things. So this is where we are. We felt, we dreamt the dream and we put some emotion into it. And now we're in another space where we're talking about, just letting go of it and doing normal things. And after you do some normal things, I want you to do something that makes you happy. It could be something that takes 5 minutes. It could be something that takes an hour. You know your schedule. You know what you have on your plate, responsibility-wise. I'm not saying that, okay, ignore a full day of work to go have fun. Although sometimes that's necessary, right? It's called a mental health day. Like some days we need that break. But what I am saying is you can go take a walk around the block. You can make yourself a cup of coffee and sit down and just spend 10 minutes sipping that coffee and enjoying the sensations, like tasting the coffee, feeling the heat coming off of the cup, smelling the coffee, like we can do that. And life isn't going to fall apart, okay? Yeah, you might push some things behind schedule. You might have to move something at the end of the day to the next day, but you're going to be better for it because you're not going to be burned out and frustrated. All right, so do something fun. And then you can go back to doing whatever you have to do. And you can repeat that cycle as many times as you need to throughout the day, okay? I try to do 2 or 3 tasks that I need to do and then do one thing that's fun. 2 or 3 more tasks that I need to do and then something that's fun. And that's kind of how I try to structure things so that I am not burning completely out, but also like life is getting done, right? Stuff is getting done. So I do that stuff. And then at some point during all of that, okay? I can't tell you when it's going to be because it's different for everybody, right? It's different for every situation. Sometimes I get one, like we're talking about downloads or aha moments where it's like, okay, I know the next step in this thing that I want to manifest. I know how to fix it. I know what the next thing is that I need to do. So when you get that, the idea is to stop whatever you're doing as long as you're able to, or as soon as you get to a place where you can stop whatever you're doing and do or act on the aha moment. So if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I get this aha moment that I need to call a business about something, well, obviously I'm not going to call business at 2 o'clock in the morning. But what I can do is I can write it down on my notepad next to my bed and I can be like, okay, in the morning, I need to call this place. I need to fit that in my schedule. I've acted upon it. Now, if it's something like that, then you can do the acting upon it as one of your things that you have to get done anyway, right? And then when you do whatever it is, whether it's talking to somebody, whether it's buying something or doing something, like then you have to let it go and go back to the top. A lot of times manifestations are not boom and done, okay? Now, if you're trying to manifest like a lottery win or something like that, then yes, part of that is you're going to have to buy a lottery ticket, but you're going to buy a lottery ticket and then you're going to have to wait till that night or the night that it's called to see what the winning numbers are. So everything has its gestation period, okay? Nothing is like done, okay? So that being said, or like not done, but like right away, like it's instantaneous, right? A scratch off ticket, you're still going to have to cash that in. So yes, if you scratch off the ticket in line, that you bought it and you could turn it back in maybe, but that's a whole lot of jump through hoops there. So we're not talking about stuff like that. That is, yeah. Everything has a gestation period. So once you do the thing, you have to let that gestation period come. Okay, so like I said, maybe it's the lottery ticket and you buy the lottery ticket and then you go on about your day and you're like, okay, I bought the ticket. Now I'm going to think about all the things I could do with the money for about 10 minutes and I'm going to get excited and then I'm going to start going on about my normal everyday life again. And I'm going to do this all over again until I either get another aha moment or something happens, right? Like the nighttime comes and you're watching them pull the, listening to them pull the numbers or whatever. And let's say you're listening to them pull the numbers and you won something, but it wasn't the big thing. So now you're like, okay, well, I got something, so I can celebrate that. And, I can turn that in, tomorrow or whatever. And we can plan something with that. But then you're like, no, I want to be a millionaire. So I'm going to go tomorrow and buy another ticket and we're going to start this all over again. And that's kind of the thing. So maybe it's not that, right? I was using that as just an example because I know people are always thinking about easy ways to make money, right? And don't get me wrong, I believe that money comes to us easy, but I also believe that it comes to us easy because we are either listening to our intuition and doing the things we need to do, or listening to our intuition and doing the things we need to do. Meaning, okay, maybe I'm directed or, I get an idea to go buy a ticket, right? And then I buy the ticket and then I win something. Or maybe I get an idea that I should start a YouTube channel and I start a YouTube channel and it starts to, to get traction and I start to make money that way or things like that, right? Or maybe I get an idea to write a book or I get an idea to whatever. But we have to act on those. We can't just sit there and let it sit in our mind. And so when we're doing stuff, and this is the hard part, okay? So when we're doing stuff that we know is going to make us money, but it's not there yet because we're still in the middle of doing it. So all of the work that we're putting in up front to do the thing. I'm creating something very, very cool right now for my community. And it's got there's a lot of work to it. There's a lot of work to it. And so I can sit in a space where I feel like I am drowning in work and everything is crazy and I'm having a hard time, keeping up and everything. Or I can look at each individual little thing that I do. And this is another thing where, okay, neurodivergent people, a lot of times we need things broken up into pieces. And so because we need things broken up into pieces, it's so much easier if we have step-by-step things all the way down the line, right? And then you can just check off things and you feel like you've accomplished something. I do that all the time for myself when I'm in a mood where I need to feel like I'm accomplishing something. I will write down all kinds of things on a to-do list, including 5 cups of coffee and watch 10 YouTube videos or something in between different things so that I get a chance to cross those things off too as I'm doing them. And I'm sprinkling in my having fun, which is part of the manifestation cycle. But we have to let things go in order for us not to be so close to the thing that we want that we can't see the big picture and we can't see all the little pieces and whatever. So sometimes when we step back and we're just there and we're whatever, we're going to get that aha moment where it's going to be like, oh, if I do this thing with this, then that's going to help this. And then if that helps that, then maybe it'll help this thing too. And then that thing. And then everything will be different. And you can start to see the puzzle pieces dropping into place, but you still haven't finished. When you're putting together a puzzle, that's big, right? It's not just one big thing in the middle, it's like different areas, it's a picture. And so maybe you get this corner filled up, but then you still have this one, and you've got part of this one, but none of this one, and this one, it's, just a little bit. And the more puzzle pieces you put in, the better, the clearer you can see what you're creating. And so I think a lot of times, if we're just constantly looking at that and trying to figure out what the next thing is, what am I doing wrong? Where do I need to go? What do I need to do? Like, that's not good for us. When we can take a step back and we can be like, okay, I'm just going to let whatever happens happen. I'm just going to go do something that I need to do, right? I need to do laundry. I need to do dishes. I need to mop floors. I need to, whatever. And we're just going to start doing that stuff as a way of, and this is the thing that I think a lot of us have trouble with. We almost need to do them as an offering to the manifestation, right? Because as we are doing these things that may seem boring, that may seem normal, that may seem like, I know I have to do them, responsibility says I have to do them, right? But they're not, I don't feel like they're helping me get where I want to go. And so it's hard sometimes for us to go and do the thing. Okay, but this is where I say, if we're doing them almost as an offering to the manifestation, it may not be that by doing them, that is exactly what creates it, but it gives us a way to look at it, a perspective flip to where we are saying, okay, I am doing this so that I can have what I want. Okay, if you think about work, okay, now there's a lot of us, when it comes to 9 to 5s, we have trouble keeping a 9 to 5. We have trouble handling other people's demands on us and stuff. So this is where I'm going to go with that. I have said it before numerous times. We don't work if we don't get paid. The society as a whole, if you're not going to get paid, people will not work. And so that's one of the ways that we can kind of pay ourselves in a way to do these things, okay? If you're thinking of, okay, if I do so much of this stuff, then a reward that's going to come out of that is I'm going to either have time to work on the thing that I want to do, I'm going to reward myself with time to work on the thing I want to do, or I'm going to get some kind of a aha moment that's going to help me move the thing I want to do forward. And if we can get ourselves into that kind of mentality of, when we do this, and then we do this, and we got to do both of them, okay? You can't just, I can't just constantly work and slave and whatever, and then end up on the other side of things with, I'm burned out and I'm tired and I'm frustrated and I'm aggravated and I haven't had any fun. We have to have the fun component added to it. It's got to be both, okay? So when it's both, and we do some things that are serious that we need to do, and we have some fun, and maybe we flipped them around a few times and done both, more than once and whatever. When we get to that point, okay, something is going to happen. That amazing thing that's going to happen, right? We're going to have that aha moment, or we're going to give ourselves some time to work on it, and something's going to click, and we're going to get another piece to that puzzle. We're going to have another piece that we're going to be able to say, okay, this is a piece, so now I can step back again and see the bigger picture. And it just cycles like that, and it continues to cycle. And then once you have the thing that you really want, then You can celebrate it, you can get all excited about it, you can be in gratitude for it for a while, but then we're humans. Humans want more. We're constantly striving for more. So we're going to get the thing we want. We're going to be very appreciative of it. We're going to, celebrate for a little bit, and then we're going to stop. And we're going to come back down, and we're going to still be appreciative, but we're going to be like, okay, what's next? How can I go from this level to this level? How can I keep climbing in life? And so we're going to climb even higher. And I feel like this is life in a nutshell, okay? Like, we're never done. We're never there. We're always a new version of ourselves. We're always in a new space. Like, every moment that we're breathing is a new moment. And every moment is a chance to make decisions to get to where we want to be at. So that is the manifestation cycle. And that is something that I feel like it's something that even I have trouble doing at times, because I feel like some days just feel like all like excited and happy, and I just want to watch videos and listen to music and, hang out and not do anything serious. And then there's other days when it's like, okay, I played around too much. Now I got to do all the work. And it's that unbalancedness that we have a lot of times, that if we can get ourselves into balance, is going to help us to be able to move things forward. It's going to help us to be able to stay on the track that we want to stay on. Going to help us to add puzzle pieces constantly, instead of we add a piece or two here and there, and then we get wrapped up in other stuff, whether that's wrapped up in the feeling excited or wrapped up in the work, but we're not doing both at the same time. So we're wrapped up in one part. We're just stuck spinning here, instead of rotating through both of them until we get the aha moment, and then we do the thing, and then we add the piece, and then we move on, right? All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off of here, but I just wanted to come on and hang out on YouTube, because it's been a while since I've done that. So I hope that you all have a wonderful Saturday night. Tomorrow is Sunday. I might come on tomorrow and do a short live on goal setting and like planning for the week. I feel like maybe that's something that I need to do over here, just like I do it over on the TikTok. So, alrighty, I will talk to you guys all later. Bye.